public meeting for the rural health clinic expansion and remodel. This was the time and place for the public hearing and the meeting on the matter of the authorization of the proposed rural health clinic expansion and remodel project as described in the public notice at an estimated cost of $21 million. Were there any written objections filed by any resident or property owner of Shelby County to the proposed project?
I've not received anything.
Okay, are there any oral objections to the proposed project? All right. The time for receiving oral and written objections to be closed. Now we'll have the public hearing for the issuance of not to exceed $12,500,000 in debt. This was the time and place for the public hearing and meeting on the matter of the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $12,500,000 hospital revenue capital loan notes of Shelby County Chris A. Myrtue Memorial Hospital, State of Iowa, to provide funds to pay the cost of improving, maintaining, and equipping the hospital, including construction and equipping of an approximately 28,000 square foot two-floor addition to the rural health clinic, including exam rooms, procedure rooms, provider offices, and support space for rural health, and a secondary entrance elevator, therapist offices, crisis waiting, and support space for behavioral health, parking improvements, renovation of approximately 1,800 square feet of inpatient facilities, including construction and equipping of private showers for 6 existing patient rooms and extension of nurse station, and renovation of the specialty clinic, including renovation and equipping of approximately 1,500 square feet, including the addition of a new exam room, and related facilities improvements and equipment, and the cost of issuance of the notes. And that notice of the proposed action by the board to institute proceedings for the authorization of the loan agreement and the issuance of the notes have been published pursuant to the provisions of sections 347.144, 331.4023E, and 331.464 of the Code of Iowa. Were there any written objections filed by any resident or property owner of Shelby County to the issuance of these notes?
No.
Are there any oral objections to the issuance of these notes? Okay, the time for receiving oral and written objections to be closed. I declare the hearing on the rural health clinic expansion and remodel and on the authorization of entering into a loan agreement and the issuance of the notes to be closed. So that does it for the public hearing. Are we ready to jump right into the regular board meeting? All right. We'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start off with the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion?
I approve the minutes of June 25th and July 11th of 2024.
I'd second that.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carried. We will have medical staff meeting summary by Dr. Brian Anderson.
Okay, our medical staff meeting for the month of July took place on the 9th. So I'll just give you the highlights from that. Laura Friend reported on our ACO measures January 1 through June 30th, and things are going well there. Adherence to these quality measures with our ACO continues to be a high priority with our medical staff. Tina Holtzworth, who is our nurse manager of public and community health, reported to us on a couple CDC health advisories. I won't go into the details of those since it's not really relevant for this board. Karen Buman informed us that a new chemistry analyzer has been ordered for our lab. This is an upgrade from what we currently have and will assist the staff in assessing patients in the ER in particular who may be having a heart attack and other issues related to their heart. So we're looking forward to that. And there will be some education associated with that new chemistry analyzer when it comes in. Karen also informed us that our contract for blood with the Red Cross needs to be reviewed, and so that was done. Apparently the cost of blood has increased, but the medical staff went ahead and approved that contract for blood with the American Red Cross. Jill Megas brought us up to date regarding recruitment. It continues to be a high priority for the medical staff. Dr. Natalie Francis will be a family medicine provider who also does OB starting in early September. We've been hearing about her for quite some time. We're still in communication with a family medicine OB provider up in North Dakota as a potential possibility, and then we're still searching for a general surgeon. And then Barry updated the medical staff on some new aspects of the rural health clinic expansion, specifically the floor plans for behavioral health. So we were educated on that. We've received a proposal for a telehealth rheumatology consultant. Rheumatology has been a specialty that we have had in-house at different times over the years, but have been without for quite a while, so we do have an opportunity perhaps for a telehealth rheumatology consultant here in the near future. Signify Health, who is the organization who administers our ACO, has recommended that we move into a high-performance group. We've done so well in our ACO with regard to quality measures that we're actually one of the top performers, and so they've recommended that we move up, which is an exciting prospect because it means that we could get some shared savings, some money coming back into the organization just because of the good quality work we've been doing. And then lastly, we had a short Zoom meeting with Dr. Patil, who's one of the new cardiologists with the CHI group, who's going to be coming out to Harlan. So there's been quite a bit of turnover in that group as far as their services out to Harlan. Dr. Alla is a very consistent cardiologist who's been visiting for 10 years or so. Dr. Delcor as well, but there have been others who've come and gone, and Dr. Patil is the newest in that group providing services here. So if there's any questions, I'll take those now.
Can I just ask a question about blood services? Who would another, like American Red Cross is a blood service, who's like your alternative to that? Is there other alternative people?
Good question. I can't answer that. Maybe Karen
There is
can.
one, and we looked into it before, but we have Red Cross here.
Sure, and I'm not saying we need to leave them, I just,
Yeah.
you know, as
We
blood
looked at
gets-
price comparisons of the last contract. So it's a 3-year contract.
Sure.
So last time it came up, we did look at another
Vendor.
Anyways, and it's another company that supplies blood, but again, the price difference wasn't that much that we felt like we should go with Red Cross because they do come here and we wanted to support.
They provide a lot of services,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm always hearing that blood is in short supply, but you haven't had any problems with that, as far as you know?
We keep a certain amount on hand, and then we can always go to Omaha if we need additional. So we haven't been, with what we have on hand, we haven't run short. You know, we turn it around enough that they bring us some in as we use it. So.
We don't keep a large supply in-house.
Right.
As a rural hospital, we have a limited supply of blood. So some of these shortages probably aren't as applicable for us because we don't keep much anyway.
I mean, I try to donate blood, as often as I can, but they always seem like the need is always there.
Yeah, your bigger facilities, I can't even imagine how much blood they go through. So if there's going to be shortages, they're going to feel it the most, more than likely.
As far as the new analyzer, when do they hope to receive that?
Do you know, Karen?
I think last time I talked with Jason, it's looking like maybe September. Almost the full month of September is going to be training, and then probably October.
It's set to ship next week, so we'll receive it in early August, and then there's some setup configuration, and then parallel testing that goes on. So like Karen said, in early mid-September is probably when the switch completely over to it and the old one can be removed.
It sounds like the new one is going to have a lot more capability and be much, much faster than the old one,
So that's what we're hoping, yeah.
which is beneficial.
Yeah, we rely on our laboratory greatly for patient care, so.
Back to the blood contract, I guess I want to clarify, just because we have had this comment asked for us before. What we pay for that blood contract isn't really the blood, it's the storage and processing of it, because, you know, people have said, patients have said, well, I give my blood to them, why should you have to pay for it? And that is the case, but we definitely pay for the processing and the storage of the blood. Just to clarify, because people have asked that question before.
It's like, donated blood, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Next, Laura's up with the quality improvement report.
We had our system-wide quality improvement meeting last week on July 17th. Behavioral health had reported they were monitoring intake assessment as well as baseline show rate of new referrals into the department and substance abuse evaluation, and that was, they had 100% of necessary documentation for those substance abuse evaluations. They're also working on a workflow report for communication of patients who have not been seen in the department in 6 months. Diabetic education in the dietary department both look at hemoglobin A1C levels for diabetic patients following education. Julie Klein had reported kind of average reduction in that A1C of 1.7%, and kind of reported that anything less than like a greater than 1% reduction in that number is really clinically significant for the patients. So that's really great. Medical records reported 98% of ED documentation completed in a timely fashion. Infection prevention reported no associated healthcare infections or catheter-associated infections. Purchasing started a new monitor of reviewing all recalls during the last fiscal year, as well as ensuring that appropriate follow-up. So that is their new report. The QI meeting, rehab services monitored fall assessments for their patients, but they're really working on a new process for identifying patients for bone health visits. It's more of a proactive approach to identifying these patients that could be at risk and go to their primary practitioner for a bone health visit. We had a meeting on that last week as well. And then the Rural Health Clinic reported on the ACO measures, which Dr. Anderson had covered already, but those all look really good with the depression screening, breast cancer screening, colon cancer screening. And that is all I have.
All right. Thanks, Laura. We'll go to Jeff with some ER and cafe project updates.
Yeah, actually I'm going to start with update on the hail damage that we received from the 25th. As everybody is aware, you know, adjusters are going feverishly around. We weren't exempt. We had 21 vehicles that had hail damage. There were 4 in behavioral health, 2 home health physical therapy, one in maintenance's trucks, 4 I guess that we park in the West employee that the hospital uses for senior life, EVS, or courier, and just general hospital use, and then 10 down in community health. 2 of the vehicles were totaled. There were 2 sitting on the south side of the wellness center that physical therapy uses. We received a payout on those, and those vehicles have been picked up already, and I believe we have 1 in replacement coming in. We're looking for a second. Of the balance, 2 vehicles had broken windshields and 1 had a broken mirror. All of our vehicles are drivable, so we don't have too many issues there. At least they're still usable. So waiting, have we received our check yet? You know, so Chubb is our insurance company. They have estimated everything and will be getting us the money, and then we have to figure out how do we rotate in to get repaired so we aren't short on vehicles. The call house did receive damage. Chubb was here, also inspected that. We don't have the report back on that yet, but they indicated the roof, the siding, and the garage door all had significant issues. So we'll see what comes out on that. We have been collaborating also with Chubb to come and, it's straight over a block. It's our, the auxiliary owns that, and that is a home that, or a house that we have that
Yeah, okay.
visitors can go and spend the night.
The Health Foundation.
The Health Foundation.
actually owns.
Yeah. So our facility here, we're coordinating, trying to get an adjuster here to come and take a look at our roof. We do know that there are hail marks in the rubber in the roof. We also have dents in all of the metal fascia that is around the hospital, at least on those that are south facing. And a lot of the hoods over all the fans on the roof have damage to them. So more to come on that. Update on the cafe. Last Thursday, we had our health inspection and we passed. So that's great. Friday, we were going to have the fire marshal come through and inspect. However, that cybersecurity issue, that worldwide issue that's going on, prevented our fire panel from calling dispatch. And that was a major check mark on that inspection. So that inspection was actually moved to this afternoon. So it did not occur last Friday. So we also have a punch list that are being worked on in the cafe. If you walk down in the area, the hallway going halfway to the emergency department is open, and the window over the salad bar you can see in and everything. It's a lot of great comments about how it's turned out. Punch list, one of the major things that has to be completed is the proper finishing and prepping of the floor. There is a unique process that has to go through for that type of flooring, and that hasn't been completed yet, so it'll be here. We also have to receive the glass that is on the back side of the salad bar. So those are kind of the two big things that have to get completed this week. We are intending early next week of opening and using our new cafe. So that will be real nice. The emergency department, there's a lot of work going on in that, and I think we probably have 6 or 7 different teams out there today working on their different areas. The sliding doors on all of the procedure in the trauma room have been installed. Now they're finishing putting the glass in. There's a little bit of sheetrock that is left to be done. They're working on the lightings and getting that into the lighting system so it's automatic on, off, and process there. Ceiling grid is all in, and some of the pads have been placed, so it's starting to enclose it in a little more. Nurses station, the bases have been put in place. We have one roof leak we're still trying to track down right above them, so we don't want to finish that until we've got that all done, but it's ready to receive all of the work surfaces on top of that, so that's getting real close. And as of right now, today, that Major can validate, we're on track for August 12th as of today. So.
And I'm not so certain that's a roof leak. We were investigating earlier. It might be condensation from some of the mechanical piping. So
okay.
We're going to have a mechanical contractor look at that too.
So was that roof leak before the storm on the 26th or after that? It came after that? Wasn't the roof completed when the storm came through?
It's been completed. The roof's been completed for quite a number of months, and we have had different leaks that have been processed. Where we think, at least we, meaning Myrtue maintenance staff, it's something called a curb up on top of the roof where the air unit sits on top of. It's somewhere that they think it's coming in there, but as Major just said, if it's a condensate on a pipe, it'd be coming out of that air unit and dripping right over the nurse's station. So we want to be sure that that's insulated properly and we don't get the drips onto the ceiling tiles and then one all of a sudden falling out. So what other questions?
It's starting to look nice. It was a nice addition to see that fence come down.
Yeah. So yeah, really changed the look, and now I believe some of the landscape is being worked on today, so.
That's why Barry probably is going to have a hard time focusing for the rest of the day because it's really loud outside of his office.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I heard that.
Everything seems to be on schedule then for the ER part?
As best we know right now, yes. Barring any major things, the air handling turn-up is going to be in 2 weeks. So once we're done with all the sheetrock dust, that's when we'll turn that up so we don't introduce a lot of that all over again. So, yeah.
We aren't planning on having a open house or ribbon cutting on the 14th of August. So it sounds like we're still on track to be able to do that. I think it's going to be from 4 to 6 for the public, and we'll have staff go throughout the day as well on that day. So.
Okay. Are we ready to, I guess, approval of the substantial completion of the cafe remodel? Is that?
Yes. At the end of every project, we have to approve substantial completion, which starts a process for all the subcontractors to put claims against the retainage if they haven't been paid or they have an issue or such. Knowing that we have essentially passed our inspections, it is ready to be at a state that's ready to be used with a few minor punch list items to go. We would like to get approval for substantial completion. We will have a document from Altus, the architect, with a date on it that'll say they concur substantial completion is hit on this day, and then that'll start the 30-day claim period. So we envision on having that document yet this week, but we don't want to wait another month to approve substantial completion by the board. So the board is the one that actually gets that time period starting for the 30 days. So yes, I would love to have you entertain accepting substantial completion for the cafe.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Go first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Let's see. Now we'll go to Barry for the CEO report.
I do like to show this economic impact report that the Iowa Hospital Association does once a year. It really illustrates how important community hospitals are to their communities. This is pretty much in-your-face type of information on how important we really are to the community. And they apply a multiplier to our number of employees. We have 400 plus employees, but because the hospital is here, there's other jobs that are created because of that. So the estimate is that we create 933 jobs, including our 400 plus. About $36 million in wages are created. That includes our 21 million. $84 million in total expenditures. Ours are about 53 million. And then there's some information below about the community benefit, and that includes charity care, bad debts, and then it also includes the excess of cost over what we were reimbursed by Medicaid. So that's a $2.1 million. And then they've got this estimate that shows that we have served about 4,500 people in the community over that. This is actually runs through June 30 of 23. So just like to put that in front of the board once a year, and just to give you that understanding. Obviously, you all understand how important the hospital is to the community, but that kind of gives you it in black and white. So moving on to the approval of the site work for the rural health clinic expansion. I've shown you these slides numerous times. I've probably looked at them, different versions of this 500 times, but you only get to see this once a month. So the only thing that's really changed here, I think, is the east elevation. We have added an entrance on the northeast corner, so there will be stairs, and there will also be an elevator that will allow access mainly to that, mainly for that second floor, behavioral health, and then the shell space that will eventually be either specialty clinic or could be primary care or could be additional behavioral health. So we really feel like that entrance needs to be there. I think the north elevation has changed a little bit. We had a lot of those metal panels on that north side, and we converted that to brick. The panels are more expensive, and this is really not going to be seen a lot from 12th Street or from, obviously, from 44th. You won't see that. So I think those are the main changes on that. This is the first floor, the clinic addition. Not much has changed, again, other than this addition of the northeast entrance. When we get down to the numbers, this is going to be one of the alternates, and we'll show you what that dollar amount is that we're estimating that dollar amount will be. Everything else will be in the base bid when we get to August. We're not actually going to have all of the bids until August, and that's when final approval of everything will need to happen on this project. Second floor, you've seen this, shell space and behavioral health. Kind of changed it a little bit up here in order to get this elevator, northeast elevator, as well as a hallway on the north side of the building. Tried to make the waiting area and the reception area a little bit more private as well. I think that's probably the main changes that have occurred with behavioral health. And the specialty clinic really hasn't changed at all recently, so I don't really spend any time on that. And then this is med surg. And the alternate that you're going to see on, I think, one of the last pages here is this bariatric room. So that will be an alternate as well. So the total project, we are estimating at $20.9 million, and some of the changes that have occurred, we are going to want to do a refresh on the rural health, the existing rural health clinic. So this includes doctors' offices, exam rooms, nurses' station, procedure rooms in the existing rural health clinic. So we want to upgrade those areas. So that includes paint and millwork and flooring. It's actually 32 exam rooms in those areas that we want to improve the look and improve the cabinetry, and there's a lot that needs to be done to improve that area as well. So that's the estimate of $661,000 for that RHC pod refresh, existing RHC refresh. And then this other number was a nice surprise, a negative $500,000, which is the site work. Those bids have come in, and we're going to be asking for approval to move forward with that today, but it did come in about $500,000 under what was estimated by Murray.
Is that because we didn't have to do the mitigation for the?
I'm gonna let
Okay.
Major talk about this whenever we get to that point here in a page or so. And then, so this is the alternates that I mentioned. That is the med surg. Yeah, so that's the med surg estimate on that alternate, $130,000 for that bariatric room. And then the RHC alternate that I showed earlier, one section kind of in the middle of the existing first floor that we may end up redoing, is an estimate of about $300,000. So the total right now, what we're estimating is $20.9 million at this point. And this is the timeline. We're still looking at starting in I just can't read those numbers. I think it says July.
That's
Does it say
today.
September?
That's the-
Okay.
That's us.
Yeah, I mean, it's really going to start in August, the site work. We're still looking at a 12, 22, 25 completion date. The new rural health clinic area will be available prior to that in September. So when that's done, we'll be moving providers over into that area, and then we can go back into the existing rural health clinic and do some of that work. And then this is what we need approval on today. This is the site work. It was estimated to be about 3.8 million, came in just a little under 3.3. And I'm going to have Major just make a few comments on what all this includes.
Yeah, you want to stay here or come around?
Oh, it's up to you.
Come on over.
Well, this is one of the more favorite parts of my job when I get to deliver good news. So I think one thing that really helped, so yeah, you'd asked a question, $500,000 under budget, why? There's a lot of reasons that contributed to that. One of the biggest things is we had phenomenal bid coverage. So we've been feeling that the market's softening. We had 5 different earthwork contractors on our site package and site utilities. We had 3 different geopure contractors, 4 and 5 different concrete and paving contractors, multiple mechanical contractors. When we get people that are, one, pre-qualified, that's a process we go through to make sure, can you actually perform this work? That then turn around and submit a bid, we get great options. And so after the fact, we go through and do post-bid interviews. And what really helps is we've got some local contractors, specifically performance grading, who's in town. That is a phenomenal amount of savings compared to other earthwork contractors that typically when they mow, you're seeing anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000 just to get all the equipment loaded up and brought here. Performance is 2 miles down the road. That's a huge savings for you. Plus you get somebody that's a part of the community, knows you guys. I'm very excited about them because they had a phenomenal post-bid interview as far as site coverage, how they're approaching it, a lot of different options. So yeah, really good news, great coverage, great numbers. And we always carry this design contingency, a lot of times changes from design contingency to bid contingency. And it's because we don't know what the market's dictating. If subcontractors are, and I don't like subcontractors, trade partners are really busy in different markets, yeah, I'll bid the job, but it's going to be worth my time, and they inflate their numbers. Right now, the market is soft enough that people are hungry. If they're looking for work, they're going to be more competitive, and that's to your benefit. So we're recommending that we take the savings and kind of roll it into the next piece of the project as we go through that next buyout. So it's good news. It's a good start. Now we just have to do it again. All right. Any other questions?
When will we know on that site work like that, if there's underground stuff that's in there? That is the issue? That's the unknown. Is that still the unknown, or is that resolved?
It's still unknown. I'm trying to decide how much detail to give you, because I get excited about this kind of stuff.
I mean, I could eat up that 500,000 pretty quick.
We've already got money plugged in there for it.
Okay.
So we've already hedged your risk, our risk as a team, saying we've got money set aside in case we encounter it. Now, it could be worse than what we're assuming, but I feel like we're pretty conservative right now. And the best part is, because this is a GMP, if we don't spend that money, we'll give it back to you. We only charge you what it costs.
There'd be an equally good chance that it may be better than expected.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we've got a couple strategies on the board that we need to work with our geotechnical engineer, structural engineer, and civil engineer, that we might be able to find some savings. And that was one thing I really liked about performance grading. He says, yeah, that's how I approach every job. We're always looking at opportunities to, can we do this more cost effective? Still maintain the quality, but is there a better way to do this? So feel good about the team. So, yes, some opportunities, don't want to get you too excited, but we do have a large majority of that risk mitigated right now based upon what we know.
So what we're looking for today is to get approval for the site work, the GMP. So $3,292,000 is what we're looking for approval. today. And like I said, in August, we'll bring back the full bid at that point. They'll have all of their bids in, and we'll be able to provide the full GMP, guaranteed maximum price at that time. But we need approval for this one to get started here in August.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the early site package GMP for the rural health clinic expansion and remodel project?
I'll make that motion.
Terry first, second.
Second.
Annie, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will go to,
I just have one other thing. I'm just going to mention that we did learn that Dennis and the Crawford County Hospital is not going to be providing OB services effective August 1. So just to let you know, we are looking at some ways that we could potentially get some of those deliveries down here. Obviously, one of the biggest challenges with OB services and making it financially sustainable is the number of deliveries. So just to let you know that we're working on some ways to increase our numbers based on Dennis and
This is a change
ceasing
to
those
Crawford
services.
County Hospital has affected, and they will no longer be offering those services, so you expect an overflow here, is that?
I expect that we will be able to get some of those deliveries here. Yep. That's all I have.
okay, next we'll go to Christie for consideration of resolution and student proceedings to enter into a loan agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $12,500,000 in hospital and capital loan notes.
So we're currently going through the process with legal bond attorneys in Des Moines to get tax exemption, bonds, go through the whole process with the IRS to make them tax exempt. That gets us lower interest rates so that whoever buys the bonds, then they don't have to pay income taxes on it. So we're going through that. Shelby County, and as you recall, we reached out to Shelby County and Mid-States, and we also reached out to a consultant that does bonds. And Shelby County and Mid-States have collaborated together to do a 50-50 split of the not to exceed 12.5 million. So they did issue us a commitment letter that they would commit to doing that for us so that the board can be assured that we've got all the funding available to do this project. Because we haven't gone through the whole due diligence and the tax exemption process yet, we cannot set an interest rate on there, but based on what they've given us previously and looking at the upfront costs with a consultant, it's a pretty well break even as to getting a lower interest rate versus the upfront cost as we looked at that evaluation. So we would prefer to stay local with this. So that's why we reached out to Shelby County, and they've given us what their loan requirements and stuff are, and we can meet all of those debt to asset ratios and all those financial ratios to stay in good compliance with that. So again, just want to, the question came up earlier about other local banks. Did speak with Mid-States. Trent Swenson is leading this, and so they did put together a proposal based on those two banks splitting it. But if at the time when we need the loan proceeds, which will not be until February or March, we can readdress that if we have a strong feeling that the markets would be better if we could have some more participation. So they are not shutting the door on that, but at this point it's 50-50 split. We feel that waiting for interest rate lock-in is a good thing for us because the expectation is kind of that rates should come down a little bit, so that will be favorable to us. So any questions? We're still working through the due diligence process with the attorneys. They're reviewing ton of documentation that we've sent them, and they'll lead us through this process.
No other questions?
Just I'd say thanks to Mid-States and Shelby County for working together to make this work.
there a motion to adopt a resolution to take additional action for the authorization of a loan agreement and issuance of not to exceed $12,500,000 hospital revenue capital loan notes? Your motion.
I'll make that motion.
First.
I'll second.
Second by Terry. All in favor?
I wanted to abstain.
I'm
from
going to
that
abstain
vote.
also.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Now we'll go to the approval of the monthly financial statements. If there's any discussion on that.
We'll defer.
Looks like that's deferred, yeah,
Yeah.
looks like that's deferred. So we'll go to the payroll and claims for June.
Is there a motion to approve?
First, we got a second?
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel committee report, there wasn't any credentialing, but was there anything to report?
No, no report today.
No report today? Well, that's easy enough. Now we'll go to the consideration of approval of CEO contract. I'll just say a few things. The compensation committee met with Barry to discuss his evaluation and renewal of his contract. The new contract is 18 months and will run through December 31st of 2025. We had the opportunity to discuss the work that has been accomplished, plus a look ahead to the 2025 goals. We report a positive evaluation of CEO Jacobson today. He is committed for his efforts and his ongoing work to keep Myrtue Medical Center focused on growth, expansion, quality, safety, while continuing to provide the value our patients expect. Is there a motion to approve renewal of CEO Jacobson's contract?
I make that motion.
Go ahead.
One of us.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All right. Is there anything else to come before this meeting?
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Barry. And thank you to the administrative team that you have.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
You guys do a lot of work. Yeah, don't get a lot of glory out of it.
A lot of
Thank you
stuff
for
on everybody's plate there.
All right, if nothing else, can I get a motion for adjournment? First and a second at the same time. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.